Good afternoon, my friends. Okay, so today I'm in the neighborhood of Bab El Oued, in one of the parts of Bab El Oued here, not very far from the Qatar, not very far from the Qatar cemetery. In fact, it's a famous and old cemetery here in Algiers, and I'm going to show you how to drive from this part to the neighborhood of Telemly. Okay. So, for your information, Telemly is not very far from here. You could even go on foot to Telemly, okay, if you know all the shortcuts. And well, and if you like to walk too, okay, this is very important too, okay, because there are people who are too lazy to walk and who would complain, even when they walk just 100 meters, they would complain that they are tired and everything. Although in fact, walking is very healthy. And I will even film videos while walking, okay? To encourage, encourage you to visit Algiers, or at least some neighborhoods of Algiers, on foot. All right. So we have just arrived in Telemly. This place is called Telemly. This area of Bab El Oued is called Telemly. Okay. On my right there is the Fontaine-Fraîche Street, where the famous floods of 2000, of the notorious floods of 2001 took place. It was on November 10, 2001. There were deadly floods that killed over 700 people. Okay, this is of course the official estimate. Okay, and right in front of us you can see the El Qatar cemetery. Okay, the El Qatar cemetery, one of Algiers' oldest cemeteries, and and right in front of us here also you can see this building, which is called, as far as I know, Bab El Oued, or the snake building. Okay. Because it goes around, you see, it waves or twines. It winds around this street here. See, and this, in fact, this neighborhood, this apartment complex, is home to thousands of families, and it's also an iconic part of Bab El Oued. All right, need to fix the camera a little bit. It's as I said, an iconic part of Bab El Oued. So, what is this cab doing here? I don't know. Okay. So now we are driving up, this street here, and we are going to join, or we are going to, to arrive in a neighborhood called Fontaine-Fraîche, or the Fresh Fountain. On my right, you can see the neighborhood of this area. Yes, you can see the neighborhood of Bouzria. Okay. Although it's hope that I'm not going. I mean, this camera is not going to cause me a lot of trouble, because I see that every time the car shakes, the camera moves too. All right, great. And we are in the area of Cité Pérez. Cité Pérez, or the Pérez, the Pérez apartment complex, and we are headed towards the neighborhood of Fontaine-Fraîche, the Fresh Fountain. Okay. When I was a kid, I would see people coming to learn how to drive here. Okay, driving schools would, bring their students to teach them how to drive and how to park their vehicles here on this sidewalk on my right. And this is Fontaine-Fraîche. And it's named Fontaine-Fraîche because there used to be I think a spring here, in fact. A spring of fresh water. But I think that it's no longer there. Or at least no longer open to the public to see. Got to be very careful here with these speed bumps. And we are in the middle of Fontaine-Fraîche. Okay, there is a roundabout here. This roundabout is new, in fact. They took they relocated people that used to live in slums and in bad houses here, in shabby houses. So they relocated them to other parts. So this is what freed some land here, and this allowed the authorities, the local authorities of Algiers, to build these wide roads, and all these roundabouts that really make this neighborhood or this part of the city look beautiful. Okay, and all this didn't exist 5 years ago, in fact. Okay, so now we are approaching Bab El Oued, which literally means the new door. Okay, and this place is named this way. I mean, it's given this name because, in fact, this was one of the parts of the Kasbah of Algiers. The Kasbah of Algiers is the oldest part of Algiers. Okay, this is where the original Algiers existed. Okay, or still exists, in fact. And you can have, a wonderful view. We have just passed Telemly and Bab El Oued, and now we can see the Algiers Bay in front of us. Such a beautiful view. We are approaching the Oued Stadium. In fact, it's not a soccer stadium. It's just a sports. It's just a sports compound where you can find basketball fields and basketball fields and handball fields. You have a wonderful view here. There is a balcony that overlooks the stadium, the Oued Stadium. We have the National Library, or the old National Library, on our right, and there is the headquarters of the gas and electricity company here on my right, and we have just entered Telemly. Okay, a beautiful neighborhood. Okay. That overlooks the Central Algiers. Okay, in fact, Telemly is the upper part of Central Algiers, but in fact it's uptown area, or it's residential area. On my right, you can see the school of the deaf and mute. On my left, there is a mosque that we have just driven, we've just driven by. And Telemly is also known for its museums. Okay, 2 museums that we are going to see after a short while, and we also have the School of Fine Arts. Okay, the Algiers School of Fine Arts, l'École des Beaux-Arts, here in Telemly. Okay, so Telemly is now officially known as the Krim-Belkacem Street. It's named after Krim-Belkacem, one of Algeria's main resistance fighters. He fought for Algeria. He was in fact a politician and a negotiator for the Algerian Liberation Front, for the Algerian National Liberation Front, that fought for the independence of Algeria between 1954 and 1962. So pretty much everything in Algeria would remind you of the Algerian Liberation War, because it's perhaps the most important part of Algeria, of Algerian history. Okay. This is the G Square, Place G, here in Telemly. One of the few places where people could sit and talk, because in fact Telemly is located in in a slope, and there are not many places where you can build a park, where you can develop a park. We have just passed the hotel here, so on our right. And Telemly is also known for its iconic buildings, okay, that date back to the colonial period. Now we are approaching the Telemly Bridge. It's a bridge, which is in fact a building. There is a building underneath, okay, an apartment building underneath, okay, but it's also a bridge. This bridge was also, famous. This bridge was also famous in the 1970s and 80s, and even before, for suicides. Okay, I'll tell you more about this later. We were driving by a park, the Beirut Park. the Beirut Park, one of it's on my right, and it's one of the most beautiful parks in Algeria. Most beautiful parks, I say, in all of Algeria. Okay, there is a kindergarten in that park, and there is also a museum for kids, a children's museum. So it's such a beautiful place. And we are now going to drive under the Aero Habitat building, a beautiful building, a high-rise building here in Algiers. It's an apartment building. There is some police presence today because there are rallies in Algiers. Okay, so this is in order to prevent any violence that they have prepared themselves here. We are on March 26, and now we are approaching the Fine Arts School area here in Telemly. There is another park here called Tifariti. Well, I need to stop a little. I mean, need to fix the camera in a proper way. Having trouble, stabilizing the camera. There are also some of the most beautiful apartment buildings in Algeria here. See, that are still, they have been restored recently, within the framework of an ambitious restoration program in order to make Algiers look more beautiful. Alright, so this is the school on my right, the School of Fine Arts, and there are two museums, the two museums I told you about. The Museum of Fine Arts, the Museum of Islamic Arts and the Museum of Ancient Arts, where you can find lots of relics that date back to the Middle Ages, and date back to the Middle Ages and ancient times, to the Roman period when the Romans ruled Algeria. All right, so this is the end of our video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Click on the give it a thumbs up if you did, and click on the notifications button, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a nice time and goodbye.